First, let's talk about Russia. Why won't I go to Russia? Well, the problem is the visa. The visa requires all sorts of personal information. It requires that you have a sponsor within Russia, and that may seem insurmountable if you're just a tourist and you don't know anybody, but your sponsor can be your hostel. And for example, the hostel can give you a letter of sponsorship for, I think, $35. So that's one step in a very complicated visa process. The other problem of the visa in applying for a visa is that you have to have your plane ticket before you even apply for the visa. Before you even know whether you're going to get in, you have to have a plane ticket. So if you're spending hundreds on a plane ticket, that's a big risk that you're taking. Because the airline won't give you a refund. If you can't get a visa, the airline will not give you a refund. So what I would do is I would buy the cheapest possible ticket into Russia, and that would be either from Riga or maybe from Warsaw. Air Baltic flies into Russia. So that's what I would use I would buy that ticket so that if I didn't get a visa, I haven't wasted a lot of money. And then in this form, you've got to reveal all sorts of personal information to the Russian government. Information that I wouldn't give to my own government. And basically, they want to know your source of income so you don't overstay and try to find work in Russia. And they want to know every place that you've lived, and they want to know what your assets are, what real estate holdings are. So I filled out this form as best I could. I kind of fudged it where I needed to. And then what happened is they called me in for an interview in New York City. So I was supposed to report to New York City to the consulate there so that I could have a face-to-face interview with a consular officer to get my stupid tourist visa. And that's where I drew the line. And I said, I'm not going to do this. Russia is not worth it. Russia is it's a politically difficult place. It's a totalitarian regime. Do I really want to go there, and do I want to spend all this, really hundreds of dollars, to get this visa? So the visa fee alone is something like $100, and then there's the fee of the agent that's processing the visa, and then there's the fee of the sponsorship letter, and the fee of the costs of buying this airline ticket that you might not even use. So I just said, fuck it. I don't want to deal with Russia, and I'm not going to deal with Russia until they offer a visa-free option, which is just not going to happen anytime in the near future. So don't go to Russia. But Belarus is a different story. Belarus used to have the same visa regimen as Russia. You had to have a sponsor, and you had to fill out this complicated form. But only a couple of years ago, they opened themselves up to tourism to a limited extent by offering a 5-day visa-free stay. There are restrictions on this program. You have to arrive at the main national airport. You can't visit Belarus by land. You have to come by air. Another requirement is that you have proof of health insurance. And this kind of panicked me at first. How do I prove that I have health insurance that's valid in Belarus? So I arranged travel insurance, and I thought that would do the trick. It turns out that the health insurance is sold right there in the airport just before customs. And it's very cheap. It's only like $5 a day for this health insurance voucher. And then you just take the voucher over to customs, and that's all that they require. They stamp your passport and look at this voucher, and then they let you in for 5 days. And you can do a lot in 5 days. Minsk is really, you can do Minsk in a couple of days. I spent 5 days in Minsk. I had a nice time. Minsk is very cheap. I think I took out $80 or less from my ATM in local currency, and $80 covered everything for 5 days. It covered my hostel, it covered all my food, and I had money left over to have a really nice restaurant meal on my last day. So Belarus is cheap. It's not terribly exciting though. The capital of Minsk is what I imagine Moscow is like. It's big, very nice big blockish Soviet kind of architecture. They have an old city, but it's like Poland, like Warsaw. It's a reconstructed old city. Um, they have some very nice parks. I rented a bicycle in Minsk and had a very nice time. But really, the only reason I was going there is to fill in my map, to say that I've been to all of these countries. And other than that, Belarus was not too exciting. The next time I go, if I go again, I would use my 5 days to rent a car and drive around the countryside. But it's a big country. I'm not expecting big things that I can't find elsewhere. So for now, just skip Belarus.